Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the world of fandom frequency. This is your boy Kenny, joined by my co-host.
What up, everybody? It's Skippy. How's everyone doing?
Yes, sir. It's the duo you know, the duo you love. We're back, bringing you another spoiler-filled review because we got to get into all the details, baby. I got to nerd out on everything. And as you saw in the thumbnail, we're talking about Marvel's latest and greatest flick, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. One of the longest titles they've had for sure, but it's an awesome title. And this was a pretty big anticipated one, man. I'm a huge martial arts fan and all that good jazz, you know, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all that stuff. I mean, even Hideyoki Sanada, Endgame, shout out right there. But yeah, man, I love martial arts just as a culture in film, all that good jazz. And seeing Marvel tackle it was such a big promise and had a lot of potential, man. So what did you think of that when they announced it?
Honestly, with Shang-Chi, I known him briefly over throughout like the Spider-Man comics. He pretty much appeared like a little bit here and there and stuff like
Same
that.
here.
And when I heard of him being announced, I thought it was gonna be pretty interesting because like we were thinking like who else are they gonna be bringing into like the upcoming phases?
Because we didn't know about X-Men and all that.
Uh-huh.
Didn't get the deal done yet.
No. We only heard about like this character like a little bit earlier on, but before the Phase 4 and stuff like that. But when Shang-Chi was announced, it was interesting to see how they were going to use that character too, because technically the Mandarin we kind of seen him in Iron Man 2, and that's why like seeing him like that a real Mandarin comes into play, it was going to be interesting to see how it all plays down the line for the MCU and everything like that. So
yeah, we'll get more into that later because was he really the real Mandarin?
Oh.
But as we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I wasn't really that familiar with Shang-Chi either. I read of him from Heroes for Hire.
Mm-hmm.
He was with like Misty Knight and all those characters like Iron Fist, Luke Cage.
Yeah, the Defenders.
And I think he might have been a part of Defenders, right?
For a brief moment, yeah. He was there for a brief moment.
Yeah. So when I would do my comic book shop runs, man, I'd just be checking out these in the store, kind of just like giving myself a little preview.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I heard of him. And then I kind of did a little wiki searching and stuff like that. And his dad was a villain and did teach him to, go out and be an assassin, just like in the movie. So that was cool how they tied that in. But it wasn't the Mandarin in the comics. That was his dad. It was a different character, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
So that's one of the things with MCU that I love more than I used to. I like seeing the stuff I'm not as familiar with, the stuff that's new and fresh from the comics or from wherever that I haven't seen before, like Eternals, way up there in my anticipation. Mm-hmm. Guardians, one of my all-time favorites because it just surprised me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, and even to this day, I still can't believe that it worked so well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love when Marvel really mixes it up.
That's what Marvel does best. It's like, especially with introducing a lot of characters that not a lot of people know.
Definitely.
I mean, it's great. They do a really great job with it. I mean, we'll date back way earlier on with Guardians, like you mentioned. A lot of people didn't really know who they were. I briefly know about them, but not too crazy.
Didn't know a thing, bro.
Dude, like and it was great because like now they're a stable in the MCU. Now they're doing a lot of
household names.
Yeah, a lot of household names for it. And then now we're entering the new upcoming phases because technically this movie is starting out phase 4 technically.
True point.
And they're making some regression within the story, so we're going to be seeing a lot of new faces coming in, and we're going to be seeing a lot of different changes when it comes to like the new Avengers lineup. We don't really know what they're going to be doing with all that jazz.
Because there's no Avengers right now.
As
we saw in the post-credit scene with Hulk, welcome to the circus, but not welcome to the Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they probably haven't had a reason for it either. Things have been relatively peaceful for Marvel.
Yeah, for now. But no, it's exciting. It's an exciting thing that it kicks us off, and then I think after this film, we get introduced to more characters, which is Eternals, and that's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna blow the doors wide open on everything cosmic. And I love how this fills in not just Chinese history, but just Asian culture as a whole in the MCU. It's cool to see that getting some shine with like Katie and her being from America and not really fully embracing where she comes from, even though she has respect for it.
Hmm.
But she's more like, I want to be American. I want to be, I want to USA. I want to do what we do over here.
Right.
Like her grandma, like, you're an American, mom. She had to keep reminding her, like,
Yeah, about and
you
then
know,
like really kind of like push that there. Yeah, which I do enjoy. Like I really do enjoy that they do give us that perspective of their culture and stuff like that. It was this film did really well on that.
without being preachy, which I
Yeah,
like.
it
They
just
happen to be Chinese. No one's like, oh, and there's not some villainous white guy that pops in. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's
Like,
just
it's just they told the story and they gave respect to the Asian culture, like they did with Black Panther.
mhm.
It's a story with a black cast told by a black filmmaker, but it's not like you have to be black to enjoy the film. It's
Yeah.
not like you have to be black to mean something in the film. Martin Short, what's his name? General Ross. He's just as important in the movie as Shuri or Okoye or any of those other characters, but he doesn't take away from the other black characters in the film. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's the one thing with the MCU that I really want to see people out there give a little more love to, man. When Marvel tackles other cultures and they bring in this inclusivity that people talk about, I think they do it in a genuine and fun way
Yeah.
without getting too deep.
Yeah, and which is great, and it's great for the even the younger audience too. I mean, it's
Because
just
the kids got to know we're all the same, and they really got to know that when it comes to entertainment, we can all be Superman. We can all be Batman. No one's more important than anyone else, man, woman, whoever. We can all kick ass, and we can all have our own story and our own legend.
yeah,
You know?
that's what it comes down to, which is awesome to see in this day and age, man. It's just really awesome to
Exactly.
see.
But even getting into the more nerdy elements of the film, what you people came here to see, what were your overall thoughts on Shang-Chi? What did you like about the movie, my friend?
Besides the obvious of the the fighting scenes, the choreographic and stuff like that,
Yes.
it was just great. Like I mean, the fighting scenes itself was just insane. I didn't realize how crazy they were gonna go with the fight scenes. They
Yo,
were
man.
mentioning before that they were gonna this whole fighting scene's gonna be a lot different than the previous Marvel movies.
Definitely.
Which is we definitely see in this film, which is it's awesome to see as well because like it makes us look forward to the future of the like fight scenes and stuff like that down the
Dude.
line.
Marvel has stepped their game up, man. This is the best action in any Marvel flick, hands down. Excuse me. But Winter Soldier kind of gave you a little bit of that flavor with Captain America having his skill set, Black Widow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been some good fight scenes in that regard with just choreography and Cap versus Bucky when he was Winter Soldier on the bridge.
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff.
one of the most
But
memorable.
this takes that and says, "Hold my beer, bro. You ain't seen nothing yet." They're doing kung fu like a madman. My dude Simu Liu playing Shang-Chi went full Jackie Chan. You know what I'm saying?
He was
He's
going
grabbing
crazy.
dudes by the arm with his jacket and pushing them away and jumping over chairs and waving to people and
Just,
getting
like-
back up into the action. Like that bus sequence, amazing.
It was great stuff. It was awesome to see all that being played out because like with that scene itself, it's like you see like the whole how quick everything he was doing his punches and stuff like that, the moves he was doing, it was pretty slick for what he was doing. He was just going through him like a knife through butter and just like not getting the job done. Besides that one guy with that weird I guess machete, razor fist. There you go.
Yeah.
Like besides razor fist, he was having a hard time with. But when it came to his lackeys and stuff, he was just going through them like nothing.
And I love how his dad, Wen Wu, was even saying, "I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you even if they tried."
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
glad I was right. I'm like, oh,
he like, and it's crazy even for technically Shang-Chi's like growing up, like he was just pretty much trained from the core, like
from 7 years old to kill niggas, bro.
yeah,
For 7 straight years.
and he was just straight up just like this like his training alone, and then like he was just getting prepared for the moment to go after the murder of his mother and stuff like
Yep.
that. So that's why it was just he had like a real childhood growing up, and just seeing all of that being played out for it throughout that time process stuff. It's just crazy. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
crazy.
Like all the stuff with the backstory with Wen Wu, aka the Mandarin, not really the Mandarin as he says later,
Hmm.
and then his mother being from Tai Lao, and all that coming together, and the way that they tied in his dad being a villain, but being a very well-rounded character, which is one of my big pluses. Wen Wu, Tony Leung's character, Shang-Chi's father, awesome Marvel villain.
Yeah.
One of the best for sure. Top 3 or 4.
He's up there because you do feel for
Easy.
that character, because you feel that
Yeah.
sympathy from him, because like he's trying to like bury that conquering past that he had, and he tries to live that peaceful life with his newly found wife and everything, his
Yep.
new love of his
And the
life,
kids.
and the kids too, and yeah, like he had all that, and once his wife was taken away from him, it just was gone. Like you feel that grievance from
Exactly.
him,
And
and
it's cliche, but well done because it makes sense. A gangster that was in the game and got out, it was a mob boss, he would have enemies.
yeah.
They would come for revenge eventually.
Yeah,
You know
eventually,
what I mean?
and then we see that in that scene and everything, and they even the people who came to try to make even the score and stuff like that. They even says like the kids aren't part of it. Just get them
Yeah.
inside. Like we only want uh
They have nothing to do with my husband's crimes or something like that.
yeah, like that was just it. And then that's when she had to fight them off and stuff, but she wasn't able to make it. She was able to, I
Yeah.
think she was able to take out like a good
A
chunk
few
of
of them,
them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because she's a good martial artist, obviously. But she
yeah.
doesn't have the Tai Lao powers. So
Oh
she
no.
doesn't have that key, so to speak. You
Yeah,
know?
because like she gave it up along with the
like
with the
like
the
he did with the 10 rings,
yeah.
which was dope. Which I'm glad both of them gave up something to come together, and then they both lost something and all that stuff. So everything with Wen Wu was super dope. And Tony Leung, he ain't missed a beat when it comes to the choreography and the action and everything.
Yeah.
Still really good, you
Yeah,
know.
like it was crazy, man. Like I was still like when we seen it at the theaters, it was just crazy to see. I mean, like the fighting scenes itself, even like the visuals for it was pretty awesome to
Super
watch.
dope. Like the way that the director, David Michael Cretton, I believe his name was, the
Hmm.
way he was spinning the camera around with their movements when they were doing more of like the Tai Chi's type stuff,
Hmm.
and the way that he was like when they were going through the scaffolding during that fight scene, or even just the fun stuff like when he pans over to the karaoke scenes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like little
Like
that.
the camera work was really great, man, and really made the fighting even more dynamic than it already was.
Yeah.
You know,
So like the camera work was pretty awesome. It was great
really
overall
good.
with itself. They were
Some of
able
the
to,
best Marvel camera work, definitely.
yeah, better than like the shaky cameras and stuff when they back.
Yes, even Winter Soldier is guilty of that at times.
Yeah,
You know.
like the shaky camera, like it's cool. It's like it's great for a brief moment, but not for like throughout the whole film.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
it's
if someone like kind of sneaks up on somebody and they're like, ooh, boom, 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 like real quick.
yeah,
That's cool. Like, ooh, elbow, elbow, elbow,
and
bam,
then
bam, bam.
and then they
That's
just
cool.
yeah. But when if it's like the whole movie, you're just like, oh, okay, we gotta relax a little bit with that
Yo,
one.
that was one of my main complaints with the Resident Evil movies. After like 2 or 3, like,
It was just
dude,
the shakiness. That's just
you
man.
literally in the last one couldn't see who was fighting who.
It was just all going crazy. It's just
Yeah,
going
like I was watching
chaotic.
it on TV for a little bit just because it was on. I was like, oh, I'll watch this shit. And it's like,
It's going everywhere.
who's Mila punching? What's going on?
I think it was just at the time. I think it was the time with the filming industry. Like,
But it was just before John Wick and all that popped off.
mm-hmm. That
And that
was
totally changed the game. That and the raid
yeah.
really made people say, oh, that's why people like that Asian shit. Because they let the fight sit in the camera and they let you see what's going on.
Yeah, and like I don't know what their thought process was, that they thought the shakiness was going to give it like more of an intense situation.
That's what it was.
It
Because the Bourne movies really got that popular, and it works well in those movies because he's doing that.
Mhm.
He's espionage and doing that kind of thing. So he'll pop up, knock a couple dudes out because he's trying to get away from that situation so the camera doesn't see him and they can't spot him, right?
yeah,
So
that's true.
for those movies like spy, espionage, even Black Widow, it fit there a little bit better, you know. But Black Widow, I thought they still let the fighters really do the action and let the camera sit there and let the choreography speak for itself.
Very
So
true.
that's the one thing that Asian cinema's always done, but now Marvel is really fully embracing, and it really helps. Like if they had this in Infinity War with just the epic, crazy nature of those fights,
Hmm.
because they had that here with the 10 rings and the way they're like jumping up and like shooting the rings down, almost like an anime kind of vibe.
Hmm.
It really works, man.
That's
And yeah, just the whole cast, dude. Like Aquafina didn't annoy me whatsoever. I
oh yeah.
really liked her as Katie in this movie.
Yeah, because like she like I honestly liked her character a lot. She's just that like
She's the best friend we all wish we had, you know?
yeah, and that best friend we always had. She was always there for everybody. She always had like the goofy moments that she always had throughout the movie itself. I mean, she played a pretty cool character, man.
And they didn't do too crazy with her fighting. She chipped in where she needed to and where it made sense, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and it wasn't like when in the film technically she picked up you trying to learn how to do the bow and arrow and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It's a
Like,
little fast. We
hmm
all know that.
yeah,
It's a movie. We ain't got 2 weeks to watch the movie to see her get good at it, you
yeah.
know?
It's just like I mean, even then, like maybe she was naturally good at it, and then like we just see her just take that one shot that that they've been
That
mentioning
they
about it.
needed,
Yeah,
And she
th-
got lucky with the shot.
yeah,
It wasn't like she's Hawkeye and she hits everything,
yeah.
you
Like
know?
it's just like she was just there to set up her own accomplishments of her just taking that shot, like they were mentioning, and she sees that she's able to do it, and now she's probably later on, and I
Because
guess in her character development, she's able to grow as a
exactly.
person.
Like that lady said, if you shoot for nothing, you can't hit anything.
Yeah,
With that whole arc of her not really striving to push herself and reach her limits because she was always so scared of failure or rejection. And that's something we all can relate to, and I can especially relate to doing what I do for a living and trying to be in the entertainment industry or
yeah,
even
for
doing
sure.
this,
Yeah, for sure.
and
Like,
we're trying to put ourselves out there and strive for something bigger or whatever. And that's hard to do. So I like that arc being in the movie because I think for a lot of young people, especially teenagers and young adults, are really going to need something like that to see.
yeah, like something that's just give it your shot. Just give it your best shot, whatever you do. I mean, you won't know until you try it. I
Shoot
mean,
for the stars and you're going to land somewhere, right? But
yeah.
like the lady said, you don't shoot for anything, you won't do shit.
Yeah, it's like you just be at the same place. You'll be at the same place no
Exactly.
matter what you do.
So
But
that whole character arc with her was awesome. Shang-Chi, his whole arc of facing his fears, accepting who he is, the
mhm.
good and the bad of his past and his family, and learning to make it work for himself.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
mean,
been my whole life where I come from. Trying to take the good and the bad from both sides of my family and make it my own and make a way to make it different for the next generation because the generation before me doesn't necessarily have to be the way we are or the way the generations will be later.
yeah, I mean, all it's just what we get, and we just gotta, you
Work
know,
with what we got.
and then we just gotta improve nonstop, and hopefully down the line, it gets better and better.
But you got to know who you are and you got to be able to be honest with yourself. And that's just really good stuff that I've been learning as a young man the last several years. So really cool seeing that in something like this
Hmm.
for just for like a Marvel movie, really getting some good themes going there. And the sister, Jai Ling, man, I forgot to get this actress's name. I'm gonna put her name in the bottom of the thing here.
Oh,
But I definitely want to show her some love. I think her name's like Menger Zhang or something like that.
I'm trying to look her up right now. I can't.
But yeah, like other than probably Mobius from the TVA, she's my
Shailene.
newest favorite side character. Her and Katie. I loved Jai Ling in this movie and the
Hmm.
way that she felt betrayed for what Shang-Chi did, leaving her behind, and her pretty much just teaching herself and said, "Oh, they don't want me to join the boys? Fuck it. I'll do it myself and I'll become better than them." And I was like, okay,
She was
that's
honest.
super dope. That's like some love and basketball type shit.
Yeah, like that's what her character development was awesome to see because she was always put in the shadows, and
Yes.
now she's actually stepping out of it and actually trying to get back to where she was at. I
Hmm.
mean, we seen that at the end of the credit scene with the whole thing
She's
going
the
on.
leader of the 10 rings,
She's
baby.
the leader. She's the new leader, and she's gonna change things up. And you already seen some changes. Like, and back
Exactly.
in the previous order, it was only dudes who were doing the training and stuff like that. Now it's both men and women
And
doing the
women.
training, and there's gonna be a lot of changes. We don't know if it's gonna be good changes because they just said the 10 rings will be coming,
Will return.
will return. But is that gonna be in a good way or is that gonna be in the bad way? We don't know until later on down the
Exactly.
line.
Because even her dad, all the fucked up shit he did for all those thousands of years, was still kind of a good dude inside of that, right?
Hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see if they kind of play both sides with Xialing. But yeah, Xialing was an awesome character. She did really dope with the action and the way that they tied her in at the end with the dragons and all that crazy
Oh
kaiju
yeah,
anime type shit.
that was insane. Like that
I
was
love the
another
ending of this movie.
dude. It was awesome. It was awesome. I mean, even with that character too, besides the dragon, like she was able to build stuff like from the ground up. Like she built that underground.
That whole underground fight club shit.
Yeah, like she did all that just because like she wasn't allowed to be fighting back in her home. Now she just said, you know what, forget it. I'll just go to this new
I'll
spot.
start my own empire
Hmm.
because Wen Wu wouldn't even let her get any piece of the pie,
Yeah.
and that's relatable and very true to Asian culture and not stereotypically, but historically and what's the word? Uh, what's the word for tradition?
Tradition.
Traditionally,
Okay. Okay.
a lot of Asian fathers wouldn't want their daughters getting in on the business because they stay home and they do that stuff or they teach the kids or whatever the case is.
Hmm.
So I liked that they kind of worked that in there
Right.
in a genuine way that actually made sense.
Yeah. That's it was cool to see that twist. I mean, it was cool that she was able to do all that and she was able to her character development grew so much from what was seen from her because we even seen in her flashbacks that she wasn't allowed to train but she was doing a lot of stuff
On
and
her own
on her
time.
own time and she even said she was able to do it even better like compared to all the teachings that they were doing at the time with the dojo and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
And that's a cool thing, man, because even my mom told me a story once where growing up, she wanted to learn to play drums, right?
mhm.
But my grandfather told her, oh, girls don't play drums, you know?
Oh man,
So,
yeah.
like, my mom could be Travis Barker or some shit right now.
Yeah, I
She could
mean,
have been one of the first women drummers to ever get famous.
yeah.
But just because my grandpa was in his ways, and not as in a bad or a good way, but that was just what he was taught and what he saw in the world at the time, right?
Yeah.
But that's the things that's crazy about it. When you limit stuff like that, you never know what someone's true potential would be. And as each generation comes up, they change these things and things evolve and grow with time. And people's perspective on what people should or shouldn't do changes.
Yeah.
So I like the way they work these real world things in without making it too serious or trying to beat you over the head with it, you know?
Yeah, that which is very true. I mean, it's just with everything with all that, it's cool to see all those developments going on. I mean, I think it was just one of those things that, we what should we call it? We don't really notice like like we'll notice a little bit, but it's up to us to make like the whole changes and stuff like that, right? It
Exactly.
just that's where it just gets down to. But
Exactly. But
it's
yeah, man,
crazy.
and freaking Xialing is just a badass, dude. She knocked the fuck out of Shang-Chi in that tournament.
Oh yeah,
Because he
that's
was
right.
like thinking about the past or whatever, and she just cheap shot at him.
Yeah, and then beforehand we seen Abomination and Wong in there.
Yeah,
That's
boy.
that's why.
Wong, MVP of the movie. For real, though.
Yeah,
I love Wong. He is quickly becoming one of my other favorite MCU characters for sure.
yeah, like he's making a good appearance. Like this overall as a character, he's popping up in Doctor Strange. Now he's popping up in Shang-Chi, and I feel like when we seen him in that brief moment with him and Abomination, it seems like they have some type of relationship already.
Yeah.
Like I wonder how that even like happened and stuff like
Interesting
that.
element. Abomination is going to be in the She-Hulk series.
Oh yeah, I've
Are
heard
we going
about
to see
that.
Wong too?
We could. I mean,
Mm,
if he's already like has that friendly, like that whole friendly conversation going on between them after the match, saying like, "Oh, you need to practice on pulling your punches a little bit or
because
stuff like
that
that."
dude was a convict for a long time. So did they let him off, or
Yeah, that was another thing.
oh, maybe that's his deal? Wong can take him and do stuff like that as kind of like his probation or something.
Oh, yeah, it could
You
be
know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah, because they when Wong opened up the portal for them to get back out of there, it was like kind of a weird cell looking thing or something like
Yeah,
that. It was something weird, but it was they might have something like that going
something
on.
like that going on. We'll
Yeah.
see. But that was such a cool, fun cameo and also set it up for the post credits where he's like, "Oh, we're looking into the 10 rings to see where they come from and what the hell is up with them." And I always knew from the comics they have cosmic origin.
Hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see who they end up tying to the 10 rings, you know what I mean?
Yeah, deal with the whole thing because like there was a thought that I had, the thought that I had with the whole thing
Oh
with
yeah, that you mentioned earlier.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when okay, so like when officially when Shang-Chi got in control of the rings itself,
When he was fighting his
uh,
dad, right?
when he's finding his pops and stuff like that, I guess when he got control of the rings, it laid out a beacon. That's what that whole thing that they were talking about at the end of it. And
Mm.
when that beacon happened, they have no idea who it was gonna
Who's it
be.
calling?
Yeah, like because
Mm-hmm.
Steven mentioned beforehand, they're saying that it's not. It's the age that it's been around Earth is
It's
way
old as
longer.
shit, yeah.
It's way older than that. It's not made out of what was it called?
Yeah, I forgot what he said too.
Vibranium.
Yeah, not
Not,
vibranium,
not
nothing.
vibranium or anything like that, and they don't even have it in the books with where the library is at, where
Yeah, the
Doctor Strange is
sanctum.
at,
They
the
don't even have
sanctum.
any records of it at
Uh,
all.
So my thought is that it's probably off of. It might be. I have a feeling it might be tied with Galactus because
Hmm.
Galactus sends off like the heralds for them to find life, find planets that he's able to consume, just so
Mm-hmm.
he can fulfill his hunger and stuff like that. And maybe it was one of the heralds that fallen on Earth was some time ago, and it was it was left there. It was left there, and then we got a hold of it, but we didn't really activate the beacon until Shang-Chi activated it somehow. And then
Mm.
with that, they're saying, okay, so we don't know who's is sending who is sending that signal to, and it could be
Okay.
Galactus. And they're saying Galactus is going to be a huge thing, so it might be tying in with the Ten Rings and stuff like that. It might be like that little seed um, that we've seen in the past already. Like they planted a little seed of a bigger conflict. I guess for us, it was when Thanos back in 2012 with the
Yeah.
Avengers. And it might be a little something like that. And I mean, with Galactus, like okay, so there's Earth. It's suitable for us. I mean, the person, the herald who was supposed to notify me, I haven't heard him for so long ago. So maybe he's probably going to go over there, and then that's when the Avengers and everybody has to deal with that huge humongous threat for it.
Mm.
So I have a feeling it might be that. It's just like a crazy theory, but it's one of the explanations. Either that or one of the. It might be one of the Celestials or something like that. It
Yeah,
could be
because
one of
I
those.
was thinking that too because it could have a direct tie-in with the turtles. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the one thing I just thought about right now after seeing the latest fourth episode of What If.
Hmm.
So when you're watching this back later, you know what I'm saying? You come back here and see if I was right or not. But you know that black dude that Stephen Strange was talking to, Cagliostro?
I'm trying to remember.
That wizard guy that was like, oh, you can't go down this dark path. I
Yeah,
already did it, and I can tell you, like, it's not gonna end well.
that's right.
I forgot what he called himself in the show, but he is actually a character from the comics called Cagliostro. That character is Doctor Doom's mystical master. He taught him all the mystic arts that he learned in the comics.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And
So what if the Ten Rings maybe ties into something like that? That Cagliostro had something to deal with. Who knows? But none of the mystic arts seem to know about it. So it could go against my theory. But
it could be a big one too, because Doctor Doom is supposed to be in it too. He's supposed to. I guess what they're speculating is that Doctor Doom is be kind of be that herald for Galactus or something like that. It
whoa,
was something along that lines there, because Doctor Doom plays a huge part that leads with Galactus and stuff like that.
it's true. And if they don't
So
want to go Silver Surfer and do something different,
yeah, and
Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom could be the one who he can easily do it. He's like, I mean, his powers overall is crazy. I mean, even him in the comics, he was technically a god. I mean,
Yeah, Secret Wars and shit.
and like it's gonna be cool to see everything played out when it comes to it. Like we won't see something like this probably until like phase 5 or phase
Who knows?
6. We won't know until
Yeah,
later
man.
on.
It's just crazy, yo. And shit, man. Is there anything else I liked about this movie I didn't mention?
Um,
Um.
I like the whole forest scene, like the whole
Oh
visuals of
yeah,
the
Tai
forest.
Lao.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tai
Tyler.
Lao was awesome.
That was a great. It was great to see like what they were able to throw in, like the creature wise, how the
Yes,
environment was
the
looking like.
dragons, the mythical. I don't know what they call them, but like those weird like dog things.
Oh, the ones that doesn't have a freaking face or a
No,
head.
no, no.
No.
The big lion looking.
Oh,
Those are from legit Chinese culture
yeah,
too.
like they were. I forgot what they were called too. Like, but
I
they
can't
played a
remember.
huge part for it as well. Like, I forgot what their names was, but it's cool to see them
Yeah,
actually.
and
In
that was awesome. And I heard some complaints online that people didn't like the third act because they thought it got too CGI and too crazy. But
Mm.
I personally disagree. I think instead of having the beam at the sky like every other movie usually does, I think this is one of the most inventive third acts of all Marvel,
Yeah.
personally.
I mean, and this is like it was great visually and stuff like that. I mean, I get the CGI part, but like, I mean, come on. I mean, like we're at that time frame of, especially right now where we're heading towards with the whole cosmic stuff, we're gonna be seeing a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
So if the CGI is it's gonna be in there, and they're gonna be seeing a lot going into it, especially with either the Celestials, either we would get
Yeah.
more into the cosmic stuff, even with Spider-Man. I mean, with
Doc Strange,
Doc,
Spider Man, dude. What else we got coming? Moon Knight could get pretty trippy too.
oh yeah, definitely Moon Knight, and I'm hearing like a lot of stuff about. I forgot who the actor was that was playing him. That was his
Oh, Oscar
supporting
Isaac.
Oscar, not Oscar Isaac. He was like playing a support character or something like that.
Oh,
It
the
was
only other actor I know in it is Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. There we go.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke. Like I know he said in the past like he was. I don't know if he was too into like superhero films, but I
No.
guess when he got into working with the Moon Knight, his perspective kind of changed, and that's why it was gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool to see because he's saying like it's a lot of great stuff coming for this film because it's nothing that we're used to. It's not
Exactly.
nothing that we're used to. It's something that we've never seen before.
Yeah, and he's a very artsy, fartsy type of actor. So if he's co-signing Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
you know there's something special there. Because Ethan Hawke never did a superhero movie, never did a big blockbuster, anything.
Nuh-uh. He was more grounded with a
Always.
lot of stuff. And
His wife, Uma Thurman, she's done some stuff like that.
mhm.
You know, Poison Ivy, fucking The Bride.
Yeah.
But he's never done movies like this. So when he was in it, I was like, oh, okay, I see what you guys are doing.
Something with the script probably caught his eye, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I want to see what they're gonna be
Yeah,
bringing to
and
the
knowing the
table."
little bits and pieces I do about Moon Knight,
Mhm.
yeah, this is definitely going in a much more fresh direction. So yeah, man, I gotta put some pushback on a lot of you people out there saying Marvel ain't mixing it up. All Phase 4 seems to be is mixing it up.
It's a lot of different changes coming
You know
on
what I'm
here,
saying?
right?
WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, none of that's similar.
Mm-mm.
Loki and What If is the only thing that's sort of similar, and that still ain't the same.
No, because like with both of them, it's completely different. Because the What If series, it's always gonna be playing out something different than the previous
Alternate
episode.
timelines that might not even pop up again or even tie in. Loki's all about one timeline, not making other timelines.
Mhm.
You know, dude, Doctor Strange just wiped out an entire fucking universe.
In the most recent episode.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
mean,
what?
it's why it's just.
Like,
I-
Marvel, I think, is hitting high gear right now. Like,
I think Marvel, like they're doing great with the changes. Like how we mentioned before, like off scenes, like if they like do like reduce the comedy just like a little bit, like
Yeah, at
swap it
times
up
here and there.
at times here and there, like with the serious moments. If they're able to do that, then it's totally fine. I mean, I'll be
Hell
100%
yes.
on board with it with that whole Marvel stuff.
definitely,
But
man.
I have a feeling like with their Eternals movie, I feel like they're not really. I feel like off of the trailer, it
we
seems
ain't
like
seen nothing yet, bro.
uh-uh.
Because even with Shang-Chi right here, when it comes to the action and the mystical side of how this all ties in and where Shang-Chi's power comes from,
Mhm.
you didn't see any of that from the trailer except for when dude jumped up and stabbed the monster thing or whatever.
Oh, when he was all the way up in the sky, then
Yeah.
he had the whole rings and ready to end
yeah,
his
you
life.
only saw like a little glimpse of that.
Yeah.
You didn't see any of that crap in the trailer. So I think they've been doing great with the marketing in the trailers, not showing you too much.
Mhm.
I think they've been doing good with that. The
Mhm.
only thing in this movie I could say bothered me or I didn't like. Now people are gonna go with the obvious thing: Trevor Slattery.
Yeah.
You know, the fake Mandarin from Iron Man 3. Now, his placement here felt a lot better to me than Iron Man 3 because that felt like a twist just for the sake of a twist.
Yeah.
This made sense. You impersonated me for like a decade. Yeah, I'm gonna lock your ass up in my dungeon, and you're not gonna see anyone else again. I'm gonna make you my jester. You know, I thought
Pretty
that
much.
all actually made sense.
Yeah.
And he did put the Ten Rings name out there and did kind of shit on dude's legacy a little bit.
Yeah.
So I thought that made sense when we bringing in Trevor Slattery like that. Now, the little furry monster thing, it's cute, it's funny and all, but it's got that Jar Jar Binks energy to me to where if I was a kid, would I have loved that? Yep,
Oh
guarantee
yeah,
you.
for sure, for
You
sure,
know,
for
like if
sure.
we were 6 or 7 watching Shang-Chi, I'd have loved it. But as an adult, it's a little corny. It's a little goofy.
That's true.
But I have to remember, it's Marvel, dude. It's for kids, teens, adults, everybody.
Yeah.
So we can't forget about the kids. You know what I'm saying? The kid next to me was loving it. You
Oh
know what I
yeah, I
mean?
heard about. Yeah, I was hearing it from my seat
And
too,
that
man.
kid knows her shit too.
Yeah,
He was
I
nerding
was
out just
I
as much
was
as me.
hearing him. He was just throwing out the facts. It's like he was saying, he's like when the Abomination and Wong. He's like, oh, that's Abomination, because like a
Yeah,
lot of people were like, who the heck is that? He was like, oh,
bruh.
that's
That
Abomination right there.
movie is at least 5 to 10 years older than that kid.
Yeah, like that kid was so he was deeply in love with
Yeah.
that film. It was cool
So
to see in his eyes too with the whole thing.
exactly. So, and he loved the ending just the same way as we did. So it's just, I loved kind of seeing that element from it. So it's like, okay, it's a mixed element. For some people, it's gonna be a negative. Like Miguel, he's gonna hate that shit. I already know it. Like that fool's gonna hate it. You heard it here first.
Hmm.
But Miguel's gonna hate that shit. And other people, like my dad, he's gonna hate that shit.
Yeah,
I
that
already know.
I can see people criticizing him about it. Because for me, I was like, okay, it's all right. But like when I like hearing like it's because like you said, it's mentioned for the kids. Everybody, all the kids really loved it.
They loved it.
I'm like, okay, so I do get it. It is a
It's
Marvel
the
movie.
family film element of Marvel. It's
Yeah,
gonna be there, guys. You
it.
gotta remember who owns it now. Disney. They don't make R-rated psychological thrillers with twisted endings. You know what
Not
I'm saying?
hopefully not. I'm hopefully soon. Like some films, like at least some films
Yeah.
with it.
What if episode 4 push that darkness? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Blade's coming, so I think Marvel's gonna do it, but they're just never gonna go fully all the way, which I
Yeah,
understand. There's
yeah.
money to make. There's a brand there. I get it. But yeah, nothing else with this movie I really disliked, honestly.
I'm trying to think back with the film itself. Um,
Maybe just a little more time with Jay Ling, a little bit with her and her dad, a little more closure there.
I
I
was
think would have been nice.
I was gonna mention that too, because like the Jay Ling, she didn't really. There
Get any
wasn't.
closure with him,
Mm-mm. It was mainly with
Just Shang.
Yeah, Shang-Chi,
Which
and
I get it. It's his movie. I
yeah,
know.
yeah. I
But
think
it just is, and for me, because I responded so well to her, I thought she was going to get that closure with her dad, Even if it was one quick scene, I thought we were going to get something. But it's, it is what it is.
yeah, I think when she probably ran away, I think it was like already done and stuff like that between the relationship. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it's like she said in the movie, like every time like she would look at her, it would remind her, like
Remind him of her and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's just like, even with Gamora and Nebula and like Thanos, we got closure for that,
yeah,
And I understand they had 3 movies to kind of build that out. So we won't get the closure with her and her dad, but we're going to get to see more of her. So it's all good.
yeah.
That's really the only things about the movie I could point out or say I didn't like or anything, or as a critique.
I'm trying to think of as a critique too, because like if it was, it'll probably be only like that little furry thing, like that would knock it down a little bit.
And the middle section does slow down a bit, like I did hear about. I wasn't bored for a second, though, but I could see someone kind of being like, okay, all right, when we're going to get to the shit,
That's what I think. That's what I was trying to figure out right now too. Is because like there was some parts of the film. It was like it did slow down a bit from what like from the earlier part of
Yeah,
the scene.
dude, it was moving.
It was a lot. It was quick. This like that
Yeah,
go
that middle section when they got the Tai Lao, it definitely slowed down because they were trying to character build and give you the backstory and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would have to say like once they got there, it did slow down like a little bit. Then it picked up with like the final
Yeah.
fight scene and stuff like that.
And it didn't let up at all till the ending. Even
That's
the
true.
fun stuff with Wong at the karaoke and then the actual real post-credit scenes, all that stuff, I was just like, yes, give it to me.
Give us more of it. I think it was like if there was some negatives, it will just be like a little slow in like the midsection of the movie,
Yeah.
and then like the little furry creature, and I think that's really it. Like I love the fighting scene, I love the visuals, the story itself
Yes.
was great. I
Good.
mean, it was
Awesome villain.
it-
With the conflict that was so good and him getting like, oh, that's my wife's voice. You don't think I wouldn't know her voice? You know what I mean? Like, super good stuff, the way that the demon thing was manipulating him and all that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like why he went villainous again to begin with.
yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Because like he was just hearing it nonstop there over the years. Like it was keep on hearing his wife saying that I'm being trapped in here.
It's like Doc Ock with the tentacles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly like that. Like it was like it was a reason behind it, like why they had to open the doors, and those creatures that were coming out, they were just straight up, they were OP.
Wrecking shop,
They were
bro.
like they just like no matter what you did, whatever damage you did, like with I think from what we seen with the stuff from our universe, it didn't really hurt them. Like they were trying to slice them up with our type of knives and stuff like
They
that,
ain't
but
doing shit.
it wasn't doing anything because like once he sliced it, they just morphed into another thing, and then
It
it
was
just
like Majin Buu or something.
yeah, it was yeah, exactly
Yeah.
like Majin Buu, and they just sucked his life, and their bodies, they just tossed their bodies, but they got the soul. And then every time throughout the last fight scene between the two dragons, all they were doing was feeding the souls to that evil dragon, and then he
Epicness.
was just getting stronger over time. And then like you seen him getting stronger over time because he was trying to take the soul of the
Yeah,
main
man.
huge thing.
Like I told my parents earlier when we got here from the movie, if this movie had Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee had a baby that met up with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, had a one night stand with her, and she had a kid that met up with Marvel and they had a kid, and then hooked up with Dragon Ball Z real quick, and just hooked up with a bunch of anime at the same time, it creates this movie.
Pretty
I love
much.
it.
It's
I
pretty
love it.
much, man. It was just a great tie-in overall. I mean, even like the costumes for Shang-Chi and everything.
I
Shang-Chi's
like it.
costume looks pretty dope. I'm like, all right, I can get
It's
behind that.
simple, but it's memorable. And I
It's
liked his sister's version of it even better, honestly.
honestly, she looks pretty sick. She looks pretty sick with
Yeah,
her
bro.
costume, man. It's very, I guess, with those two costumes, very iconic for the upcoming films and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
man.
man.
And even the one the mom had, I
Oh,
actually liked her costume too.
like, are you talking about
When
the one in the beginning of
yeah,
the?
like the green or whatever.
Yeah, I thought she looked pretty
That
awesome in
was
that
cool,
too.
man.
She looked pretty freaking sweet. I mean, the costumes itself, we'll just say they were pretty awesome to see within like the movie. Like the costumes
Definitely. You're gonna be
definitely looked
seeing a lot
great.
of these characters at like the conventions and the Halloween parties. You're
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
seeing a lot of them.
definitely. It's definitely this upcoming year. Oh yeah, this upcoming year, Shang-Chi and stuff like that. Like we'll be seeing
Definitely.
costumes with them. Man, this overall, this movie itself is just great. I mean, hearing like, I mean, seeing that even like the after credits, we see a little bit more stuff going on. It gets us curious of
Yeah.
what the rings are. It gives us a little plot point of like, okay, so what's gonna happen next? There's like they're on standby in a sense,
Yeah.
but something is coming
Coming for sure.
for sure.
Either right before his movie, he'll like pop into a Disney Plus thing or something,
Mhm.
or it's going to be his next movie because the actor Simon Liu, he says he doesn't know when he's appearing next, which I actually believe. They usually don't tell you these things till like right before they're going to do them, so
I
he'll know before we do. But I don't actually think he knows right now. You know,
it would be cool to see that character go across to
he
different characters.
definitely is.
He has to because
He has the
even
10 rings, bro. That
yeah
makes him close to Thor. Like
yeah like he's able to go like I'm
he can go
pretty
toe to
sure
toe with Cap, like Steve Rogers Cap, no problem.
yeah like I think if yeah, I think
Gamora.
he'll just run over Cap. I think if we're thinking about power wise, because when he with the rings itself, that power is so freaking
Really
crazy,
strong.
man. Like that guy, like when his pops and himself were fighting, and when his pops got that final blow, when he hit him into the water, I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
fuck. I was like, dude, there's no way in hell he lived. I mean, I would think if that happened to any of the characters like Hawkeye, Steve Rogers, anyone like
Done.
that, they would have been done. Like I would have been like, all right, so they might have lived, but they have like a messed up arm or something happened with the
Yeah.
shield or something
Looking
like
like
that.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, like
Oh man.
it was like that power level was gonna be crazy. I think what the actor is saying too is like he kind of wants to have that comic type of relationship with Spider-Man because
Oh
there
yeah.
is
That'd be
that
awesome.
Spider-Man because Spider-Man loses his senses and Shang-Chi teaches him the way of the spider in the martial
Whoa,
arts.
what?
So he's been preaching about that a lot on the social media. So it'll be cool to see something like that.
Yeah,
But
man.
we don't really know until after like December because we don't know what the hell is going to be
What the fuck
happening.
Spider Verse is doing over there?
Yeah, like
God damn.
that's they are going to be going crazy in the Spider Verse, man.
No
It's
way home, bro.
no way home.
No way home.
A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people are hyping up that movie too much. Like they have very high expectations, but in reality, it's going to be like a little bit lower and realistically. I have a feeling like if they don't bring in, let's say all the Spider-Man together, like I feel like a lot of
Oh
people aren't
shit.
gonna like a lot of people aren't gonna like that movie. But
The internet's gonna get burned down.
oh yeah, a lot of people will be like, this is the worst movie ever. But they never really said anything about like the Spider-Man's going on. Like they may have like lips of them here and there, but
Cameos.
cameos here and there. Like they were saying like if there was like a cameo, then they would not enjoy it as much because they're thinking like there's gonna be a huge a huge fight scene at the end of the New York with the 3 Spider-Man and the Sinister Six. Technically, I mean, I don't know. Like,
I have no the only thing I expect to see is Spider-Man fighting a bunch of Spider-Man villains.
mm-hmm.
Other than that,
Just keep it low.
yep,
Just keep it low. Like
it's
even
too much in the air. You
like
don't really know.
even with like Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil, he's only gonna show up as Matt Murdock. He's
Yeah.
not gonna show up in his suit. He's
No.
gonna only appear as Matt Murdock. And when people are saying stuff like, "Oh, he's in the trailer with the newest thing that they released," I was
Bruh,
like,
you
"There's."
could see the dude's
You
face.
could see the dude's face, and on top of that, they're saying like, "Oh, he's wearing the same white shirt." Dude, he. If you actually seen the show, you see him moving around with the cane. Like he would have somebody either Karen or Foggy with him to lead him into the door. He still has to play that whole role of him being blind.
Exactly.
So why the heck out of nowhere he just walks in like as if everything was normal? I mean, come on, man.
Exactly.
You gotta use your noggins a little bit. I really want to see Daredevil. I'm a huge
Yeah,
Daredevil
you're like
fan.
the biggest Daredevil fan
Like,
I know.
I want to see him, but we got to be patient. Like, even if from what I'm hearing, he's going to show up within the Spider-Man film. He's going to show up in Echo. He's going to show up in She-Hulk. Because technically, but Echo, they do have a relationship and everything like that in the comics. So it'll be cool to see them doing their whole thing when he makes his appearance, maybe as Daredevil, maybe as not. But he is going to technically make little appearances before he actually shows up in either his own show or his own movie. But I'm really kind of hoping to go with the show because the Daredevil series is freaking awesome. I'm
all
really
that development and all that time,
Mhm. And like
So yeah, it's gonna be crazy, bro. But if you had to score it 1 out of 10, what you giving Shang-Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings?
I've been thinking about that on the drive over
Yeah,
here.
this one was 1 out of 10 rings. What are you giving it?
1 out of 10 rings. Can I go
Yeah.
half a ring, or does it have to be like a full ring?
You could do half a ring.
Half a ring. Okay. I will give this. I'll give it an 8.5 8.5 ring. An 8.5 ring for
8.5
sure.
rings out of 10.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, I would give it that if they increase the story a little bit, like at least with the midsection a little bit more, like I guess like that slow phase, if they were able to give more character development and like a little bit more of a faster pace for all the characters, or at least more of a meaningful connection with all the a lot of the characters, then I'll easily give it like a 9.5, close to a 10.
I feel
like
you.
I would say like a 9, because like a 10 it'll be pretty hard for me to get a 10,
Yeah,
because like
I was like 10's like rare if I ever give a movie a 10.
yeah, like it'll be very rare. Like it'll be like most I'll give like any film will be like a 9. A 10 will be like if it blew my mind. Like
Yeah.
I get to start talking about
That
it
pretty
nonstop.
much to me is like 9.5.
9.
Because I don't think any movie's really perfect unless you're talking about like a childhood favorite of mine.
Yeah,
Like, Scream, Back to the Future. Those are 10 out of 10s for me.
yeah, like
But-
that. Like if that's, I think that's where like the 10s is mainly at. Like
Yeah.
if it's like your die hard, like
Exactly.
for me, it would be Daredevil. Daredevil came back, I would be like loving it nonstop if he did it properly. But like, oh, it's a 10 out of 10. And like some
Yeah.
people might be a little bit lower. I mean,
No, normally, no.
yeah.
So for this one...
What's your thought? What's your rings?
Jeopardy music. No.
You can put that on the video.
You know what? 9 rings out of 10.
9 rings out
I'm
of
giving
10.
it 9 out of 10.
All right,
Because
all
honestly,
right.
dude, if you took the furry thing out of the movie, you gave Zhe Ling a little more closure, and you make the second act, don't take anything out, but figure out a way to make it maybe more interesting in certain parts.
Yeah,
But
true.
overall, dude, other than those nitpicks, really, I would just say Zhang Ling not getting that closure with her dad is like kind of a big negative for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that goes against the arc a bit because they kind of felt like they were setting that up.
Yeah,
know?
it makes sense too.
That she
I
would
mean,
just get that last scene with him before Shang-Chi gets his goodbye. Because I love the way they did it with him. I just wish she got a little more. But other than that, fantastic movie. I'm buying this thing right away. Marvel-wise, top 10
top 10 for sure.
already. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I would give it like top 15. Because like I have
It's
like
not
a
bad
lot.
at all.
I like because there's like it's like technically like the 25th film, right?
Yeah, this is the 25th one.
The 25th
Yeah.
film. I would say within the top 15. I can't give it a place right now because if I do, I gotta like
Yeah,
look
not
through all this
definitive.
stuff.
But right now, if I just had to go off my feeling,
Mhm.
yeah, it's probably going to be a top 10. If not, barely missing it. But I think it's going to be a top 10. But I
Top.
want to wait until Phase 4 is over to really try to rank it. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, right now,
I think.
yeah, I'd probably put it around that like 10 spot or something. It's
Hmm.
really good, dude. Because it's definitely a step above Black Widow. It's like right there with Winter Soldier to me and stuff like that. But it's just those end games are just like, whoa, you know.
It like yeah, especially with the other movies because there was so much built up for those movies
Yeah.
too.
And Guardians 1 is always going to be in my top 3 because such a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
But this flick kicks a lot of ass and the pun is intended, all right? So make sure before you leave, hit the subscribe button, man, because at the worst, you're going to get a lot of dope content in your feed that you can click at any time, or you're going to become one of the Fandom Frequency family members and get to catch up with all of the episodes and be straight up in all the nerdy goodness all the time. But even if you don't do that, click the like and make sure you click the download button on our podcast feed if you're listening to us on your Dre Beats or whatever the hell the kids use these days. But if you're listening to us and you have been, much love. All the appreciation we've been giving you guys is going to continuously keep coming because you guys keep showing so much love. We're just at under 175 downloads in just 6 months, guys. It's incredible. I am way beyond humbled. It really means the world that you guys are checking out the show. But what did you think of Shang-Chi? We really want to hear from you guys, man. Shoot us a DM on the social media. Put it in the comments section below. We want to know what you thought. Was the ending too CGI crazy for you? Did you see all the anime influences like I did? Did you have fun with this movie? Did you hate it? Let us know. We want to hear from you, man. And we got a lot of dope content coming at you guys. What if? We're going to be covering the rest of that. And we have a very big special announcement that's going to be coming within the next 2 weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We got a lot of special stuff coming for you guys. I got some new rankings I've been working on. So 5 on it is coming back. Anything else you want to holla at the people before we sign off, man?
Uh, just a very, very big thanks to everybody tuning in. We've been seeing your comments, we've seen the views and everything, and like Henny said, we're starting out within the 6 months, and we're seeing a lot of support, which is awesome. Which is awesome. All I can really say is stay tuned. Out in the real world, be safe out there, and
Please.
I mean,
Mask, vaccine, whatever you want to do that makes you feel safe in these crazy times, please do so.
yeah, I mean, we just love you hearing from you guys and overall, man.
Exactly.
So, I mean, just be safe out there. And that's all I got really end my note on for this one, man.
Most definitely, man. Thank you for checking this out. We love each and every one of you. And also, shout outs to my main man, Joey Laba. I know you're going through some tough times right now. And we wanted to just put a lot of love out to Buddy. Rest in peace to you, man. And much love to your friends and family. Not trying to bring the mood down, but we just want to show some love because we know how you feel and we're here to support you, brother. So much love to you. Much love to all you guys out there enjoying the show. And until next time, guys, stay tuned. Don't sleep.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace.